Thank you very much. I don't know if, I know that some of you were at a wonderful concert that night, July the 1st at the Cathedral. An old friend, Jim Carter from Downton Abbey, and his wife Imelda Staunton came down and recited some poetry at the Cathedral. It was funny, they were involved in the original recording of a record called Centenary, which is poetry and music of the Great War that Show of Hands did 2 years ago. My wife is a huge Downton Abbey fan, absolutely obsessed. So when Jim, the butler, Carson, when he phoned up, "Hello Claire, it's Jim Carter here." He's got this gorgeous voice. Only could have been matched if I'd have got polled up, but that's another thing. Anyway, I'll play you a folk song. I played you one in the first half, a traditional folk song. This is another one called Reynardine. That's nice. That used to happen to Frank Sinatra, didn't it? And now, the loveliness of Paris. That's Tony Bennett, isn't it? We're at the Albert Hall in a few weeks. There's a great story about Tony Bennett. One of the managers at the Albert Hall said when he did a show there, it must have been in the 90s, and even then what he'd have been in the 70s, late 70s. He said, he came out, he said, "People say I've lost my voice and I can't really sing." So he came to the front of the stage in the Royal Albert Hall, "The loveliness of Paris," and people could hear right in the back row. "Don't think I have I?" We did the Albert Hall, I think it was the last time, this idea of starting off with a song called Widdicombe Fair. And the idea is Widdicombe Fair, it's just me and the quattro. And what normally happens is I sing it on stage and Phil finds a space at the back of the theatre, wherever we're playing, and he plays this really ghostly violin solo. So I said to Phil, "Why don't we start off with it at the Royal Albert Hall? Why don't we walk from the back of the auditorium towards the stage?" So that would be a really atmospheric way of starting, because people would be sitting there, the lights would go down, and they'll hear the music coming from behind them. So that was all good in theory, but we probably should have told the people on the door. Because everybody was sitting in their seats, and we ran round the corridors either side like this. And at the plush velvet curtains there, this lady said, "You can't go in." She said, "I'm only allowed to let in people between applause, on applause." I said, "Well, there's not going to be any, because it's supposed to be us on stage." And luckily there was a poster. She went, oh. So we opened the curtains, and I went to this like double doors, and I stood at the top, and there's about 4,000 people down in this bit, and I started doing, and this lady looked up and said, "Shh, just have to start." Where was that? Reynard the Fox, this is the theme of this song, and there's a whole series of these folk stories and tales. If you think of Red Riding Hood and the wolf and the werewolf and the vampires and all these sort of beasts that are out in the woods, you will notice that their victims are never 19-stone prop forwards. They're always young, innocent girls. It's always that sort of thing, you know. So I figure that these songs came from a time where you really wouldn't want youngsters to stray into the woods and into the valleys, and because there would have been people living out there who knows what we would have called them these days, predators really. So in this song she meets this guy who's taken the form of a fox, and he's got this very sort of hypnotic power over her and draws her into his world. And you think that folk songs have got no resonance these days. You sing this in some northern towns and they know exactly what you're singing about. This is Reynardine. One evening as I rambled among the springing thyme, I overheard a young woman converse with Reynardine. Her hair was black said, young man, be civil, my company forsake. For to my own opinion, I fear you are some rage. Oh no, I am no rake, he cried, but I was raised in the wind and rain. I'm searching for concealment, oh, from the judge's men. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips, they lost their former dye. She fell into his arms, all on that mountainside. They had not kissed but once or twice when she came to again. So modestly she asked him, oh, pray tell to me your name. Reynardine, Reynardine. He said, if by chance you look for me, by chance you'll knock me fine, for I'll be in my green castle, inquire for Reynardine. Day and night she followed him, his teeth so white did shine, and he led her into the mountains, did that slide.